entrepreneurship, I think, is big on this too. They, get to learn that we work for ourselves, both of us, and we get to teach them, our children, that we don't really get to go somewhere, but we're working. So it's challenging, but it's it's a very satisfying activity.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm John from PGP Wedding Films, and welcome to Say Yes to the Best, where we talk to the best wedding pros to give you wedding planning advice. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We have new content out all the time to help you with your wedding planning. So today I am talking with Victoria Perez of Elephant Limbo. They do wedding stationery, as well as her husband Pat of Pat and Sean Kelly. How you doing, guys?
Great.
We're good, John. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being on the show today. I thought it could be interesting for everyone at home to just kind of hear your story, how you guys both ended up in weddings, and also just kind of your experience being in the wedding world and being married, having gone through a wedding, and now, seeing so many more professionally.
Sure. Oh my gosh, that's a lot, man. Because when you get married, from the time you get married all the way up until now, being in the industry for a while, a lot. You see a lot of things. A lot has happened. And it's a lot different now because we got married in 2015.
So first, tell me about how you guys met.
Sure. Do you want?
Yeah, we met online. I messaged him through christianmingle.com. I was an au pair, and I really didn't want to have a relationship as is. I wanted just friends. I didn't know anybody, and my friend who I knew in Philadelphia was engaged at the moment, so her life was starting to change, and I just needed to stop being the third wheel there. So so I messaged him. He was the only person that I messaged, and then he messaged me back, and that's it. We met a month later.
Yeah.
And that's
She
it
was
fast.
she was my first date, and I was her first online date. So
who ended up getting involved in weddings first?
So Sean and I got involved first. I was working a job at an ad agency, and I didn't really like it. So one of the weekends while I was working, we've always played music, so it's not something new for us to play events or to play music together. But at that time, we did a wedding for a friend, and I was like, man, this is awesome, and it was easy in a way that was comfortable. Like I knew what to do. I knew all the ins and outs of it, and I thought, well, why can't I make this a business? So I talked to Sean about it. I said, we gotta start doing this, and so I quit my job. I guess 2 weeks after that, and just started building the business.
Wow, leap of faith. That's great.
Yes, leap of faith. I was 8 months pregnant, John. So yeah.
That it's a massive leap of faith. Yep.
It was good.
With Pat then getting involved in weddings, Victoria, did that motivate you to start your business?
Yeah, for sure. After they truly dove in, I said, okay, well, you're doing this. We're going to do it the right way. And as I said before, I went to school for design. So I pretty much was able to help release all of that, way of marketing and the logo and the website and etc. And so as I was doing that, I felt the same thing. This is something that I know how to do, and I love weddings, and I actually have a kind of like a minor, I would say, in editorial design and photography. So I might as well just start diving into that stationery part of it. It didn't start as niched as it is right now, but I guess that's how, any business goes. And
figure out what you like.
Yeah. So the same way they started in 2015, the fall of 2015, by January of 2017. So a year later, I quit my jobs and just dove into continuing in weddings only.
Were you guys married before you guys took this leap into the wedding world, or did you do that after you were already professional?
Yeah, I was, I guess it was probably, we were only married for maybe 6 months, 7 months. Yeah, because we got pregnant right away, and And then about 7 months after that, I decided to just dive in.
Yeah, we got married January 2015, and they started doing it full time in August
yeah.
2015.
Do you think you would have potentially done anything differently had you been in the business first and then got married? Because I know I always tell my wife, because I'd only shot a couple weddings when we got married, and I always tell her I would have turned into a groomzilla because I have a lot more opinions now than I did then.
Oh yeah, we would have done a lot of things differently. That's a really long conversation, because I think what happens is you see so much, and you're like, oh, there's all these great things that I get to experience and see, and I wish I would have done it this way and that way. But at the end of the day, you just kind of have to say, that's how it was. That was the day that we got married, and it's special because it was for us. Regardless of what we would have changed. And do you have anything you want to add?
I think that you learn that you maybe would have just let go a little more, knowing and trusting the vendors that you have for that specific day. You learn kind of the other side and how much they care, how much we care for, just performing whatever it is that we're doing it as if it was for our wedding. So letting go, maybe I would have.
That's a good way to put it.
Not that I was, tense about it, but
What are some of the things that now still kind of stand out to you from your wedding?
I can say we had really good music. It was just not something that I was worried about. Our music was really good. We had class act, which in that moment it was not even a band anymore. I mean, yet they
were just getting started. Yeah.
It's a band of, most of them are Central Box music teachers, and it was just really good.
And Sean's one of their main guitar players too, so he plays with them regularly. That's one of his outside of what we do as Pat and Sean Kelly. That's one of his other gigs that he does.
Now that you are both working in weddings, do you ever get to collaborate at all?
I think collaboration is between the two of our businesses. It's a little bit more difficult to know how to collaborate from the invitation side to the music side. I guess the biggest collaboration is trying to refer people. On every first email I send out, at the footer, I always have wedding invitations for people to click on. That's kind of the main way that I try to refer business, because her work is amazing, and we're fortunate that we have a pretty large amount of inquiries over the past few years. We've really upped our the level of inquiries. So even if someone doesn't go with us, at least at the bottom they still see a wedding invitations for Elephant Limbo link at the bottom.
I can say that the biggest collaboration that we have is on the back end of it in our daily lives, because we cannot do anything without the other person's help, just because we have children and life, and it can get very chaotic when either there's a style shoot where I need to be on site, and then that same day they have an actual wedding where it takes a big chunk of the day. So those days are the ones when we truly see each other to say, hi, how are you? Okay, bye, see you. We're running in and out, and it's fun, but you get to see that the actual, okay, we need to be synced, otherwise this would not be working.
Yeah.
So what are some of the advantages of both being in weddings?
The understanding of what it takes to complete it. For the music side of things, we get there really early, and we're the last ones to leave. Because we do live music and DJ, we kind of do all of it. So for Victoria's, understanding of what it is in the wedding industry to have, how important that day is, and knowing that we're going to have to get there really early, and we're going to, sometimes there are 12-hour days that, I'll leave at 12, 12 o'clock noon, and I won't get back until 12 or 1 a.m. So it's just understanding what it takes to do a really good job. That's kind of a huge part, and that's where she's a huge help.
On the other end, when I have to, last minute orders or whatnot, right now our studio is in our house. So just having the kids running around and don't touch this, don't touch that. This is important, just keeping an eye on when there's a deadline. There needs to be comprehension on how important our delivering our services is to each other.
And it also helps me to have a more inclusive understanding of the wedding industry overall. I see, like, someone will come up to me and say, like, they'll look at something on a table, or they'll look at signage or invitations
Yeah,
from,
that's true.
and I'll be like, oh yeah, I understand literally everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, that's true. He can
The
be my
back end.
assistant sometimes.
Yeah.
As in, like, I'm like, do you think that this color is good or this color? And he's like, well, if they're using like a mauve, I'm like, how do you know those hues, the difference? Other people would not know, but he's around it. So, and he gets to see it.
Yeah.
Taking, being a part of the entire picture. So it's really cool to, whenever we're working in the same wedding, get to see the pictures or the video and then be able to see my creations there with them singing and just everything overall. It's really cool. I think that we've appreciated a lot the planning behind an event overall. Oh
yeah.
There's so many pieces that need to be put together. And our children get to see everything that we do. So
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, I think, is big on this too. They, get to learn that we work for ourselves, both of us, and we get to teach them, our children, that we don't really get to go somewhere, but we're working. So it's challenging, but it's it's a very satisfying activity.
Yeah.
Are there any disadvantages for both of you being in the wedding industry?
So we're 100% self-employed in this house. That a lot of people might see that as a disadvantage, because there's a lot of extra work that goes into it. But I think within that, you learn a lot about, healthcare and how to make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to cover taxes and running your business efficiently. So that might be seen as like a negative aspect, but it also pushes you to learn more about what you need to do.
So we don't have any sort of freedom during some weekends, which can be sometimes a bummer because some group of people have events during the weekends and we cannot assist either as a full family or we have to split up and, you go here, you go there. And it's a little chaotic, but at the same time, if you put it in a scale, it's worth it.
Seeing that you've seen weddings as you were engaged, got married, now as professionals, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges that couples face as they are going through this season of life?
I think what we see, or what I see a lot too, especially because music is such a specific thing for some people, and I see a lot of the difficulties with choosing things for family members, with parent dances, stuff like that. That there sometimes people hold on to those things a little bit too tightly, and they do need, like Victoria had said before, sometimes you just need to let go and just say, okay, this is something that I'm not gonna be able to change about my parents. They don't necessarily want that song. I just talked to a couple yesterday who both of their sets of parents, they wanted to choose a song for their introductions that wasn't in the plan originally, and they wanted to choose a different song to dance to than the couple wanted to. So and they just said, okay, this is our parents are, it's kind of what they want. So they decided to kind of just let go and let their parents decide.
I would say sort of along those lines as well, paying a lot of attention into very tiny, minuscule details that are really not that important and that are not going to give you any sort of result in anything but stress you out, and just really not having full trust in your vendor, sometimes wanting to be too involved, which is completely understandable, but at the same time, now that you've seen so many, you say, well, it's an unnecessary stress. Don't enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Enjoy the process. Because it only happens once.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. I think this is going to be really valuable to couples who are planning their wedding, because I think you guys are a great example of how after the wedding, it's being married is kind of working together and having kind of the same vision. And it sounds like you guys have made an amazing 2 businesses as a part of your life.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Thank
For
God.
sure.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. Pat of Pat and Sean Kelly and Victoria of Elephant Limbo. All of their information is going to be below. So if you need live music or a DJ, you need wedding stationery, you need to check them out. Thank you for watching Say Yes to the Best. Again, subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We have new content out all the time to help you navigate your wedding planning. Happy planning!